You are listening to Brayford Radio. This recording was originally broadcast on the 13th of October 2016. For copyright reasons, this audio has been edited to remove any music being played during the show. We hope you enjoy the recording of Formula Tom, with me Tom Cairns, Jack Murphy, Harry Parker and Kathy Daniels. Good evening and welcome to Formula Tom on Brayford Radio. Joining me tonight is Jack Murphy, Harry Parker and our newest member of the Formula Tom team, that is Kathy Daniels. On tonight's show we'll be chatting about last weekend's race in Suzuka, the career of Formula 1's newest driver, that is Esteban Ocon, along with our drivers' lineup prediction for next year. You guys can be involved in the conversation via Twitter, sending in your tweets at Brayford Radio. Alternatively, you can send us a post or a message via the Facebook pages of Brayford Radio or Formula Tom, and we will share your thoughts over the course of the next hour. Guys, how are we feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah? Kathy?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. How do you think last weekend's race then? Because it wasn't the most exciting of races, was it? But there was a lot going on, wasn't there?
That start, everything just went wrong.
You think that was the major talking point of the race then?
Yeah, I mean, a lot has been made of Verstappen's late breaking defence. But I think, obviously, if Hamilton didn't have the bad start, it could have been more of a fight up front, it could have been a more exciting race. So yeah, I think Hamilton's start was the main bit.
Kathy?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think Hamilton just had such a poor start and it really affected the rest of his race, so I don't think the thing with Verstappen would have had such an impact at the end.
And Jack, your view of it?
Yeah, I definitely agree with them. Hamilton said in the press conference that it was blamed down to wheel spin. He apologised on team radio, so 100% agree with their points.
About the chat was a little bit down because they had some overnight rain, didn't they? And I think that sort of saturated the circuit for the race start. So did that become a little bit of a deciding factor as to why Hamilton didn't get the start he wanted?
Definitely, yeah. They said that grid positions 2, 4 and 6 had quite poor starts to considering 1, 3 and 5, because half the track was or damp. Mm-hmm. And the other part of the track was kind of dryish, more dry, so they got a better start.
I suppose, because that's like the racing line, it's basically where 1, 3 and 5 is, and normally the other side of the track is normally the dirty side, so they're not getting as much grip because they're more likely to go onto the marbles. But back to what you said about Verstappen, did we think it was a legal move? Do you think that he was obliged to do that?
I think he was, personally. It's a little bit harsh, but it's fair.
I thought it was robust, to be honest. I mean, I think looking back on it, I felt it was a bit too aggressive because I felt the underbraking. I felt he was changing direction as he was underbraking, and normally you're not supposed to do that. But looking at it more, I mean, I've seen far worse. But had Hamilton made contact with him as he was moving, as Verstappen was moving on the braking, I felt it could have ended in tears, but thankfully it didn't. Was third the best Hamilton could have hoped for?
After that start, yes.
Really? Because, in Monza, going back to Monza, as he qualified on pole, he went down to 6th by the end of the first lap, whereas in Suzuka, he went down from 2nd to 8th, and we were saying from time to time that he cannot afford any more of those bad starts, and Suzuka justifies why he can't do it. He's lost more ground to Rosberg in the championship.
Yeah, I think 34 points now?
33.
33 points that he's lost now. That's a whole race that Rosberg has comfortable now. So it's very much open now. It's down to Rosberg to see it home.
And now with the lead that Rosberg has, all he needs to do now is finish in the top 2 in every single race between now and the end of the season, regardless of where Hamilton finishes. So even if Hamilton was to win the last 4 races, and Rosberg finishes 2nd in those 4 races as well, Rosberg would still be champion. Kathy?
I think Rosberg, with the form he's got at the minute, I think that's very achievable for him, and unless I think if he has an engine failure or something, then obviously that would mix it up a bit. But Hamilton having the poor starts he is, and Rosberg winning comfortably as he is, I think he's definitely got the momentum.
Harry?
Yeah, I think it's, barring no mechanical failures, Rosberg should have the title.
Okay. And Jack?
Yeah, definitely. Toto Wolff said that Rosberg's keeping his head, one race at a time. But he also said Hamilton likes to go under pressure, but of course he hasn't seen it in Suzuka yet. But maybe he'll step up his game. We hope so.
I was going to say, because this is what Hamilton was born and raised to do. I mean, I do like to see him winning championships, but I don't like him to see winning championships so comfortably. I'd like to see him work to win those championships. I mean, we say that about Mercedes, like, we're happy for Mercedes to win, but we don't want them to just completely dominate and make the field look history, do we?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, Mercedes did win the constructors' title at there, but it's all down to the drivers now. I think they're going to let him race. I
don't see why not.
Yes, definitely. But it's all pressure on Lewis Hamilton. But I hope he grasps it with both hands and takes control.
And to take note as well, excluding Azerbaijan, 5 of Rosberg's 8 race wins this year have all come in race on circuits that he's not won in the past. So Suzuka, never won there before. Singapore, Monza, Spa, Bahrain, Russia. You know, all those races that he won, he's never won in the past. So he never won there like last year or the year before. But do you think all these races, can he win in Austin, Rosberg, Kathy?
I think he can, because I think he'll be carried from the win in Suzuka because he's never won there before. I think he'll go into Austin feeling really confident. So I think he has got the potential to win there.
Harry?
Rosberg doesn't really, well, he didn't have the best time of Austin. So I've got a feeling that he'll want to win it even more because of what's happened in the past there. So I feel Rosberg will win it, and then that'll be it, done, basically.
Jack?
How Hamilton quite likes Austin, so I actually think Hamilton will win at Austin, but I still think Rosberg, but as they said, barring any technical or mechanical failures, has a good chance of getting at least top positions.
Just going through the results, Rosberg, unsurprisingly, took his 9th win of the year, his 23rd of his Formula 1 career. Verstappen finishing a fighting 2nd, with Hamilton coming out just behind him in 3rd. Sebastian Vettel was 4th, ahead of teammate Raikkonen in 5th, and Ricciardo completing the Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull top 6. And then it's Perez, Hülkenberg in 7th and 8th, and it's the Williams of Massa and Bottas finishing 9th and 10th, with Grosjean 11th, the only other driver finishing on the lead lap. Then it's Palmer, who finished 12th. That's a stunning effort from the Brits. Then it's Kvyat, Magnussen, Ericsson, Alonso, Sainz, Button, Nasser, Gutierrez, Ocon and Verline all finishing. So all 22 drivers finishing the Grand Prix. That's the 2nd time this season that it's happened. The other occasion was back in China in the 3rd race of the season. The fastest pit stop went to Williams for the 13th time of 2016 with a time of 2.05 seconds. The fastest lap went to Sebastian Vettel, and the Driver of the Day award for the 6th time this year went to Max Verstappen. Looking at the championship table, as we already mentioned, Rosberg has a 33-point lead now over Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship, with 313 playing 280. Then it's Ricciardo, a comfortable 3rd with 212 ahead of Raikkonen on 170. Then it's Verstappen and Vettel, a further 5 points behind on 165. Then it's Bottas in 7th with 81, a point ahead of Perez in 8th. Hülkenberg in 9th with 54. Then it's Massa moving back into the top 10 standings ahead of Alonso in 11th. And Sainz in 12th with 30 points. Moving away from the Mercedes, how do you think it's looking now with the championship? Because Ricciardo, he looks now to be a distant 3rd for when the season ends.
Yeah.
52 points ahead of Raikkonen.
Yeah, that's quite comfortable.
Considering what's there to play for now for this season.
I'm still surprised at Sebastian Vettel's performance this season. To see Max Verstappen ahead of him, considering obviously Max Verstappen didn't come in, it surprises me what he's done and how. I thought Vettel would have been 3rd this season coming into it. I didn't think Red Bull would be that strong, but to see him down in 6th, it just shows he's been
tied
a
on
little
points
bit
with
rash.
Verstappen. The fact that Verstappen has been in less races with Red Bull than Vettel has been with Ferrari this season, I think that's really damaged Vettel's confidence. And the fact there were rumours saying that Vettel's seat beyond 2017 with Ferrari is not yet secured. And to be honest, I'm not that surprised by it, because he needs to prove he's worthy. I mean, we've seen him win championship with Red Bull, but he's not quite bringing the same success to Ferrari at the moment, is he?
No, not at the moment. That could be part. Well, we could see anybody move there. There's obviously always been the law of driving for Ferrari, so could we see Hamilton leave?
Jack?
Yeah, it's looking quite tight for 4th, 5th and 6th. That's where the big points are now going to be played for. Top, of course, you're going to be watching that, but now between Raikkonen, Verstappen and Vettel, that's going to be a big one, especially for seats for future cars.
Kathy, how are you seeing the Vettel's seat? I mean, we know he's there for 2017, but do you see him going beyond it?
I think I do, because I think he's a big driving force behind Ferrari, and last year they improved quite massively with the addition of him. And Raikkonen's seat at Ferrari, everyone's sort of questioning that year after year, and it's only really this year he's sort of started putting in the results, but he's still had his seat secured. So I think Vettel has been putting in stronger performances, so I think he probably is safe.
I mean, Raikkonen, we know Raikkonen's a lot more experienced than Vettel is, but I don't like saying it, but do you think 2017 could be Raikkonen's last year in Formula 1, let alone Ferrari?
I feel it will be.
Do you think?
He's obviously been around quite a bit, took a break, but came back, and then apart from this year, I think it's fair in saying he's not had the greatest results. So I do feel like next year will be his last year. He's not getting any younger, and obviously there's a lot of talent on the grid at the moment, especially with people lower down the grid as well.
And just going through the remainder of the standings at the moment, there's been no changes because only the top 5 teams and drivers scored points in Suzuka, but I'll remind the standings of the lower end of the points table. Grosjean is in 13th with 28 for Haas, then it's Kvyat in 14th with 25, then it's Jensen Button with 19 in 15th, then it's Magnussen with 7, Palmer, Verline and Van Dorn with 1, leaving only 5 drivers. They are Gutierrez, Ericsson, Nasser, Harriento and Ocon, who are yet to score. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes clinched the Constructors' Championship at Suzuka. They now have a lead of 208 points ahead of Ferrari in second. 50 points now between Red Bull and Ferrari, with 385 playing 335. And it's Force India with 4th with 134, 10 points ahead of Williams in 5th with 124. And it's McLaren looking very comfortable now ahead of Toro Rosso. They're on 62 to Toro Rosso's 47. And it's Haas. Still no points since Austria. This remain on 28. And it's Renault who remain on 8 as well. Then Manor with 1, crucially ahead of Sauber. For you folks to share your thoughts from the Japanese Grand Prix, do make sure you tweet in at Brayford Radio. Alternatively, you can send in posts or messages via the Facebook pages of Formula Tom or Brayford Radio, whichever. And here is your first question of the evening, and the question is, which 2 Japanese drivers in history have finished on the podium in Suzuka? Which 2 Japanese drivers in history have finished on the podium in Suzuka? The answer we're giving to you later after Keynes' Everybody's Changing. This is Tom Cairns on Formula Tom. You are listening to Brayford Radio. And that was Everybody's Changing by King. The question we asked earlier was, which 2 Japanese drivers in history have finished on the podium in Suzuka? Do we have any answers, guys?
I thought one of them would be Kobayashi, but I'm not sure about anyone else.
Jack?
I can't remember many Japanese drivers, to be honest, so I don't have any answers.
Kathy?
Yeah, the only name I could think of was Kobayashi as well.
Okay, I can tell you, I couldn't give you a half a point with the Kobayashi. I'd say the other Japanese driver who finished on the podium in Suzuka was Aguri Suzuki, who finished 3rd for Lotus, I believe, in 1990. And of course, Komiya Kobayashi finished for Sauber in 3rd place in 2012. So those are your 2 answers, Aguri Suzuki and Kamui Kobayashi. Let's go on to a driver who is the newest one in Formula 1 at the moment. That is Esteban Ocon, the Frenchman. How do we rate him, guys, and how do we feel he's settled in to his race seat?
Yeah, he's doing really well at the minute. He's done nothing wrong so far. He's, if not beating Verline, he's matching everything Verline is doing. So, full steam ahead for him at the minute. He's doing really well.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. He hasn't done anything wrong, hasn't sort of had any big crashes or mistakes or anything. But yeah, I think he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's showing he's got the consistency at the moment, which is crucial for the lower teams.
And I'm just thinking to myself, because I was looking, because he's the reigning GP3 champion, believe it or not. He won the championship last year. But looking through his earlier career, he began in karting in 2006, where he finished 8th in the French Mini Championship before he won the series itself the following year. He continued his winning streak in 2008 in the French Cadet Championship before moving to the international scene in 2009. He then moved into the KO3 category, that's karting Formula 3, in case you didn't know, staying until the end of 2011 when he won the French KO3 title and finished as runner-up in the WSK Euro Series, that's World Series karting, something like that. In Formula Renault, where he made his single-seaters debut, taking part in the Euro Cup Formula Renault 2.0 with Corin Motorsport. He finished 14th with 4-point scoring finishes, including podium at his home round at Le Castel. He also contested a partial campaign in the Formula Renault 2.0 Alps with Corin, finishing 7th with 2 podiums, both of which came at the Red Bull Ring. In 2013, he decided to switch to the ART Junior team, where he took 3 podiums, as well as his first victory at La Castel, and finished the season in 3rd position in the standings. So we know he made his single-seater debut when he was 15 at that time. I mean, that's a very young age. I mean, for somebody like him to arrive on the scene. But we know how much France has a heritage for motorsport, don't we, Jack?
Yeah, we've seen many good drivers come from France, and Ocon, his karting days look very successful, and if he can take what he did from his karting and put it into what he is doing now, I can see him being a very good driver, a very consistent driver as well.
Okay. Kathy?
Yeah, karting has done really, really well, and I have a feeling that in Formula 3 in 2014, I think he did finish ahead of Max Verstappen, and obviously we've seen how well Verstappen's done, so I think he has got a good future in Formula 1.
And Harry?
Obviously, seems like he's consistent enough, so if he proves it again next season, I'd like to see him in again. I'd like to see him at one of the teams further down the field. But if he does it again next season, there's no reason he can't continue in F1.
Yeah, and just going on to how he's gone in his career, in Formula 3, Ocon made his Formula 3 debut at the Macau Grand Prix, racing for Prima Power Team. In the following year, he expanded his collaboration with Prima into the FIA European Formula 3 Championship, which is where Max Verstappen graduated from before he came into Formula 1. He was on top position of the standings since the first round at Silverstone and won the championship with a round to spare. I mean, he scored a numerous number of race wins. I'm pretty sure he scored something like 11 race wins that year in the European F3 Euro Series. I mean, we saw Verstappen, I think it was 6 in a row, and I think Ocon did a similar thing. I mean, Spa was by far his most successful circuit, in my view. But we would like to think he's got the potential to build on his reputation within the world of Formula 1, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. If the more younger drivers we get, the better, because it proves there's a future.
Jack?
Yeah, 100% agree. We always like to see the youth come through, even if it's always starting mostly at karting. But he's got a lot of experience for such a young age, and that's what we want to see. We want to see experienced youth drivers. And it proves that definitely we have a future for F1.
And with his experience of Formula 1, Ocon partook in the first practice session at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the 21st of November 2014, driving for Lotus F1. He also took part in the post-race testing in Barcelona with Force India. Prior to him claiming his GP3 title, it was announced that he would enter the junior programme of the Mercedes F1 team. Earlier this year, in February, it was announced that Ocon would act as a reserve driver for Renault. Of course, we knew he took part in some of the practice sessions with the Renault team as well as Sirotkin. I'm pretty sure Sirotkin took part in the practice sessions in Russia. But with that valuable experience, with Lotus, Force India, Renault, that's what helped him get the race seat at Manor, didn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, with getting the race seat at Manor as well, he can go to some of the other teams. Look, I've proved I'm consistent. I've proved I'm good enough to be at this level. So if his seat came in danger for next season, because obviously nothing's confirmed, he could look at the other teams who don't have their seats confirmed yet as well.
There's funding as well that's required for these teams. I mean, would Sauber want him? I'm not so sure, because we don't know where Ericsson and Nasser are, because I know Nasser has got financial backing. We know Ericsson has got financial backing. Renault, we don't really know, do we? We don't really know where Renault are going with their driver lineup for next year. And just on his CV as well, in the Formula Renault 3.5 series, Ocon joined the World Series by Renault's 3.5 category for contact racing at the Hungaroring and La Castel, scoring 2 points in his first race. In GP3 last year, it was announced that Ocon would enter the series with ART. He claimed the championship despite only scoring 1 victory, and 2 other victories were denied due to penalties and pressure from Luca Giotto. In DTM this year, it was announced that Ocon would drive for Mercedes-Benz in the 2016 DTM season, alongside his reserve role at Renault. Ocon fills the vacant seat at the 2015 DTM champion and fellow Mercedes F1 Youth Programme member Pascal Wehrlein, who graduated to F1 with Manor. So looking at his records on here, I already mentioned 1 race win. I mean, they might have had only 1 race win, but second places, still come consistent, don't they, Kathy?
Yeah, he's a very consistent driver, which is really good. So hopefully it will mean that he will be able to have sponsorship and keep his drive, because I think that's a big thing with the smaller teams in Formula 1, because Haryanto had to leave because he lost his sponsorship. So hopefully he can keep it because he is a very consistent driver.
And looking at here on the FIA 3 Euro Series, he got 9 wins. I mean, 15 pole positions. I think that's half of the race wins. Sorry, half of the races of that. So I mean, we know how fast he can be.
21 podiums as well.
Yeah.
In the 33 races.
I mean, 478 points. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was over 125 points ahead of his nearest rival, which is at least 5 race wins ahead of the rest. I mean, my word. And just to remind you of his race results since he made his F1 debut at Spa. Finished 16th in Spa, 18th in Monza, 18th in Singapore, 16th in Malaysia, and 21st in Japan, finishing ahead of his teammate Pascal Wehrlein. If you have any thoughts on Ocon or anything that we've been discussing so far, do please tweet in at Brayford Radio, or you can send us a post or message via the Facebook pages of Formula Tom or Brayford Radio. For now though, here's your second question of tonight, which is, in what year did France last host a Grand Prix? Okay, in what year did France last host a Grand Prix? The answer will be given after 7 Nation Army by the Red Stripes. This is Tom Cairns on Formula Tom. You are listening to Brayford Radio. And that was the 7 Nation Army by the White Stripes. The question we asked a few minutes ago was, in what year did France last host a Grand Prix? Any guesses, guys?
No.
I'm going to have a pot shot of 94.
94?
Yeah.
I'll go in 92 then.
Kathy?
95.
95. I think you'll be very, very surprised. It's 2008.
Oh,
in Magny-Cours, yeah.
Oh, Magny-Cours, of course.
Yeah, I think you might be thinking of Paul Ricard.
Yes, I
yeah,
was.
The last race in Paul Ricard was in 1990. The last French Grand Prix in Magny-Cours was in 2008.
Right.
So that was the reason why that was in. I've just got a friend of yours actually that's tweeted in with a screenshot. It's Tally Colborn who tweeted in with a picture there. So our best wishes to her for tuning in, because I posted the show on the Formula 1 Forever closed group. So I think that was sort of the influence as to why she's tuned in. So thank you very much, Tolly, for tuning in. It's that time of the show. It is exactly that. So I think it did work this time. It must have worked this time. So Jack, how did we do?
Well, during the break, I was like hanging around 2nd and 3rd. I've dropped down to 5th now. It's not doing well.
It's not doing you any favours, is it?
No, This week I didn't do too badly. The point gap between 2nd and 5th was 2 points, and I did come 5th with 98. But in the overall standings, I've dropped down a lot, and I'm very disappointed in myself.
I think for me, considering the points each of us got, I did actually all right considering, because I only got 1 point behind the 2 Toms actually, Red Bull Dog GP and Honey Badger GP on there. But I've only won once. Out of all 17 races this year, I've only won once in the league, and that was in Austria. But I need to do it. And basically what I've changed last week before Suzuka as well, took Hamilton out, and I put Alonso in. I took Hulkenberg out as well, put Ricciardo in. So that's like 2 drivers sort of, if Alonso gets like a back of the grid, for example, like we did in Malaysia, that's like 15 grid spots, so we get 30 points for it, which is better than Hamilton getting 15 points and finishing 3rd.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of aim for me. So I've basically got Alonso, Ricciardo and Verstappen as my drivers, and Mercedes, Force India and Haas as my teams. I mean, what have you got in your pit wall?
Well,
because you've still got some free changes still.
I've been pretty happy with my drivers this year. So I've got, I think I've got Grosjean, Sainz and Rosberg. So Rosberg consistently getting me points.
Yeah.
So teams, Mercedes, Haas, and I think I have Force India as well.
Okay, so you're considering the budget.
Yeah.
And maybe that could all change next season, depending where the teams are.
Definitely.
The thing is, Haas has been the same budget things from the start. I think everything has been unchanged since the start of the season in terms of how much is each worth. So like Haas is like 3 million, so that's almost like a bargain really, isn't it? Especially for like the start of the season, because I'm pretty sure I put Haas in for the start of the season and Grosjean got my points as well. I mean, if only I had Grosjean in there, it would have been a lot better. With the results in Japan, you can find out the details on the Facebook page. Team Martin was the winner with 122. Then Red Bull Dog GP and Honey Badger GP with 100 points each. Then it's me, Kensway with 99. Delta F1 from 98. So only 2 points separating from 2nd to 5th. Then it's Mark's Mercedes GP, the championship leader, only getting 80 points that time. And Team Jedi only a point behind in 79. So it's a close score in that round. In terms of the standings, Mark's Mercedes GP now
he's running away with it.
I mean, he's running away with it. Actually, his lead has been drops down. It's now a 189 point lead over Team Martin. So if Team Martin can maybe outscore him at least, I would say 45 points every race now until the end of the season.
It's going to be a tough call.
It's going to be a tough call, I think.
It's like a Hamilton-Rosberg.
He's like a Hamilton-Rosberg, except that he's in a league of his own. Team Martin, 1,918, ahead of Ken's Racing, 1,905. And it's Team Jedi with 1,886, Delta F1 with 1,811. And it's a Honey Badger GP with 1,732, and Red Bull Dog GP bringing up the rear with 1,616 points. I mean, for me, it's between Team Martin, myself, Team Jedi and you, it's now 107 points between us 4.
There's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, I mean, with myself, I've gone for Alonso because I know he's known for his starts, and if he makes up a good grid rise through the field and getting me those bonus points, that'd be very, very much helpful. What would you say your predictions would be for Austin next weekend?
Hamilton for the win.
Okay.
Rosberg 2nd. Verstappen 3rd.
Verstappen 3rd.
Yeah.
If you were to predict your top 3, Kathy, who would it be?
I think Rosberg, Verstappen, and then Ricciardo, I think.
And Hamilton finishing 4th or lower?
I think Hamilton will probably come 4th.
Okay. Harry, what would you say your top 3 would be for Austin?
I'd like it to be Hamilton, but I don't think it will be. I think it will be Rosberg. I think Hamilton will qualify on pole but mess up the start. So I feel that he will finish 3rd. So I'm going to go with Ricciardo in 2nd.
Because I think I'm pretty sure the dirty line is where the pole sitter is sat, because the first corner is the left-hander. Because it's a gradient and then a left-hander. So I think theoretically, where the driver is positioned on the grid in terms of the pole sitter depends on which corner direction it goes. So regardless of whether the racing line is, it's still, the first corner, I think, direction of the first corner where the pole sitter would be. So you think Hamilton would mess up on the start again?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want that to happen. I mean, I really want Hamilton to fight for it, because I feel he can do it. I feel he can really, really do it. The other predictions, Jack, who do you get the fastest lap? Who do you think will get the fastest lap?
I'd like to see one of the lower teams get it. Not low, because they're not going to...
Not ridiculously
low, but one of the mid teams. So maybe
Alonso.
someone like Alonso, Hulkenberg maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe had a... Just out of
Just
nowhere.
put on a fresh set of tyres.
Going, having a fresh lap to get tyre warm. So
because I think the Austin track, because it's a permanent racetrack, and we've seen it over the years, it's quite an abrasive circuit. It completely hurts on tyres actually. So if they put on a set of I'd like to say option tyres, because the option tyres
Yeah.
is normally the softest. Maybe Alonso may do what he did in Monza, put in a fresh set of tyres towards the end and get the fastest lap. That's my say on it. Who do you think? I mean, who do you say would get pole? Because I know you said Hamilton would get pole.
Yeah.
Who do you say would get pole?
I will say Rosberg's going to get pole, but Rosberg will have the bad start this time.
Just like he did last year.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I really do think Hamilton will actually fight for it this time and claw some points back and really get going with a few races remaining.
And who do you think will get? Well, who do you think will be the first to retire?
It's always a hard one.
It's a hard one. I mean, we've got none in Suzuka, so we know nobody got that right.
Verstappen, for me. I feel he's going to be involved with something in the first corner.
Really?
Really.
I mean, it depends where he starts, really, isn't it?
Yeah, if he starts in like 5th or 6th,
with the way things,
Yeah.
it could be a repeat of Spa, couldn't it? With the two
Yeah.
Ferraris. I mean, the Red Bulls and Ferraris have very much been coming to blows a lot this season. When we saw it in China, with Kvyat and the two Ferraris coming together. We saw it in Russia, Kvyat and Ricciardo and Vettel coming together, and we saw it in Spa with Verstappen, Raikkonen and Vettel coming together at La Source. I mean, could history repeat itself in Turn 1 in Austin?
I feel it will either be Verstappen or Vettel, which they're both excellent drivers, but Vettel added pressure at the moment, and Verstappen, you just never know what he's going to do.
I mean, he's very much on the radar on a lot of fans' radars at the moment, because I feel first driver to retire. I mean, it's completely anyone.
Yeah, shot.
I think it's pure luck, but I did put something in case, just in case I forget to do my predictions. I can't exactly remember what I put. I'm pretty sure I put something like, I don't know, Nazar or Furlong or something. I'm not sure if I've done my predictions yet, but I'll need to do that at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to do your predictions, because
Yes,
I think on a couple of occasions you've missed out on some good points potentially. So yeah, who do you think will be the first to retire, Cathy?
I think it will probably be one of the cars in the middle of the grid, the first corner. And however much I hate to admit it, I think Vettel might be involved in something at the start and have to retire, because the amount of first corner crashes he's had recently.
Yeah. I mean, he's retired on the first lap. If you include the non-start that he had in Bahrain, he had an engine failure on the formation lap in Bahrain. He crashed out after the collision with Kvyat in Russia, and he had a coming together with Rosberg in Malaysia. I don't know. I mean, did you say who would be the first driver to retire, Harry?
I said it'd be Verstappen, but
it could be
Verstappen or Vettel. I feel they'll be both involved in something.
Okay.
Together.
And what about? I mean, we haven't seen the weather yet, but do we want something like last year where we had the sort of damp start? I mean, qualifying, it was almost non-existent.
We want a changing race for Hamilton. We want a changing race.
Yeah. I mean, qualifying was non-existent. I mean, that's the only time since the qualifying system was introduced that Q3 had not decided pole position. It was the Q2 times that decided pole position, wasn't it?
Yeah, no one wants to see that. We want to see them racing for Q3, but it does give a little bit of a mix-up, because we had a mix-up grid, clearly, because Q2, clearly they weren't pushing as hard as they wanted to, but we always want to see Q3. It's better for the fans, and personally, I'd like to see different cars, maybe middle cars getting into that Q3 and pushing for points.
Alright. For you guys to share your predictions and results from last weekend's race in Suzuka, you can be involved in the show via Twitter at Brayford Radio, or you can send us Facebook posts or messages on Formula Tom or Brayford Radio, along with answering our final question for tonight, and it is: how many drivers finished last year's race in Austin? How many drivers finished last year's race in Austin? The answer will be given after Buck Rogers by Feeder. This is Tom Cairns on Formula Tom. You are listening to Brayford Radio. And that was Buck Rogers by Feeder. The question we asked a few moments ago was: how many drivers finished last year's race in Austin? Jack, what did you go for?
I will say 16.
16. Cathy?
15.
15. Harry?
18.
18. The answer is 12. So the answer is 12. The drivers, I can remember on the top of my head, the drivers that didn't finish, I believe, were Will Stevens, Valtteri Bottas, Roman Grosjean, Kimi Raikkonen, Marcus Ericsson, Nico Hülkenberg, Yannick Kvyat, and Felipe Massa. So those were the drivers that didn't finish. So the others that did finish, I can't exactly remember the exact order that they came in, but I know the other ones that finished outside the points were Alonso and Rossi. They finished outside the points at that time. So if you got that one right, very, very well done indeed. Now it's that time of the show where we need to think about who is going to end up where for 2017. We'll go in current constructors order. We don't need to talk about Mercedes because they've confirmed their lineup. We don't need to talk about Red Bull. We don't need to talk about Ferrari. Force India. Now, we know Sergio Perez has been retained. That's absolutely certain. Hülkenberg, even though he's under contract for next year, there's been rumours this week in terms of German media that he's been linked with Renault for next season. I mean, how do you approach that?
I personally feel that would be a little bit of moving down for him, because obviously Force India have done quite well this season.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't personally see it, because I don't think he's been terrible. I feel he'll just keep his contract for next year, and then 2018 would be the grid where everybody leaves and moves.
Jack?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a step down. I see him. He's doing well at Force India at the minute, and I would think he would want a step up, more of a step down, unless Renault's told him something that we don't know at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be a majority of factors that might tempt him to Renault. We don't know.
Okay. And Kathy, I mean, what's you say on the Hülkenberg situation?
Well, I've heard that Force India said that if he did want to leave, they wouldn't stop him. But again, I do think it would be a bit of a step down, and unless Renault offers him something very good, then I don't think he would be tempted to leave Force India because they are doing quite well.
Okay, if we were to go for a prediction, who would we go for to race alongside Perez at Force India?
To race alongside Perez.
So let's make a unanimous decision.
I haven't actually thought about it because I just don't think Hülkenberg will leave. If a shot in the dark, maybe Kvyat.
Okay.
I don't think he'll leave either, but
If he has other ideas.
if he has other ideas, Magnussen maybe?
Okay. Kathy?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he would leave, but Magnussen would possibly be a good idea there.
Okay. I say we make a unanimous decision. I mean, I think Hülkenberg, I think he needs to stay. I feel Renault need another year in terms of development.
Yeah.
I think if Hülkenberg goes there now, I've got a feeling he might struggle, but I could be wrong. I was going to say Hülkenberg. You said Kvyat, and you two said Magnussen. So should we put Magnussen in there?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stick Magnussen in there. So we've got Magnussen and Perez at Force India for next year. Williams are a big talking about, but we mentioned Alex Lynn, didn't we?
Definitely GP2. He's I put him as one of my ones to watch last year in DB2,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a big fan of Alex Lynn, so I definitely wanted to see him there next season.
I mean, another mention is Lance Stroll as well, who's been very, very successful in his form. I think he's in the F3 Euro Series or something like that. He's been very, very successful there. Who would you consider, Kathy?
Williams, I think they do need to get a young driver in with some talent, because obviously Bottas has been there a while. I hope Bottas does stay, but I think they do need someone new to sort of bring new ideas to the team.
Okay.
So, yeah.
As we were saying in the break, I think it could be Verline, because I feel he's done well this season. Verline, or maybe even Ocon, as we said earlier, because they've both performed very well with the car that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously with a team like Williams, sponsorship isn't as much as an issue.
Okay. It's a tough one for me because we know Massa is out.
Well, they've got their reserve driver as well, Paul di Resta.
I mean, Paul di Resta, yes, of
Paul di
course.
Resta could
Paul
be
di Resta could be a fit because he's got the experience with the Mercedes engine at Force India. Don't forget that. It's a tough call on that one. I mean, we need to make a decision really because this could be any of 4 or 5 drivers.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the 2 drivers that they should put in, Lance Stroll and I'm not sure about what I'd say put Lance Stroll and it's tough. I've got
You want the experience.
Paul di Resta.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Lance Stroll and Paul di
Do
Resta.
you think he has enough experience though?
Lance Stroll.
No, Paul di Resta to be in number 1 seat.
Well, we've seen him. Well, you know he's got the experience with Force India, and of course he's been successful in the Mercedes days in DTM. Would I deny the fact that he'll be put into Williams? I don't think so at all. I think he deserves another shot at Formula One at some point.
He did
and I think next year could be the time for him to make his move. Kathy?
Yeah, I think he has got a lot of potential, but I do really like Bottas. I think Bottas should stay and give him like another chance. Then possibly, I can't see him staying if he doesn't put in the results much longer at Williams.
Okay, so who would your 2 drivers be if you had to choose? You said Bottas, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely Bottas. Oh God.
You've got Lance Stroll, you've got Paul di Resta, Alex Lynn.
Alex Lynn, I think.
Okay,
She's
so
doing
you said
quite well.
Alex Lynn, Valtteri Bottas. Harry, who would you go for?
Valtteri Bottas, and I'm going to go with Verline just because it's a random one.
Okay, so let's put Bottas in.
Yeah.
And I said Lance Stroll. You said Alex Lynn. You said Alex Lynn as well.
So it would be Alex Lynn.
Alex Lynn. Okay, we'll put Alex Lynn and Valtteri Bottas in there. Okay. McLaren, we don't need to mention about McLaren. Alonso and Van Dorn have been confirmed for them. Toro Rosso, Carlos Sainz, we know he'll be there next season, but Danny Kvyat's seat seems to be under threat.
If he doesn't perform, he's lost it, in my opinion.
Okay. We've got Pierre Gasly, who's waiting in the wings, who is currently sitting behind Giovinazzi in the GP2 series going into the final round in Abu Dhabi. But can we see him in Formula 1 next year? Yes or no?
With Red Bull's history, yes.
Yeah. Jack?
Yeah, totally agreed. He's got the tyres, so he could definitely make the step up, especially for the Toro Rosso, because they're known. Verstappen brought through, Sainz brought through there. They could definitely take the chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yeah, I agree with what's been said. I can't see Kvyat keeping his seat, and I think they will bring someone through from the lower formulas.
Okay, so Pierre Gasly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Sainz and Gasly for Toro Rosso next year. Now, let's go on about Haas. How do you feel Haas have done this year? Do you think they've achieved more than we expected them to do? In reality?
Yeah.
In the first 2 races, yes. Everywhere else is about what I expected.
Okay. Jack?
Well, personally, as a very new team, I didn't expect them to go far, but they've gone further than I did expect them to go. To be beating Renault, Manor and Sauber, definitely Renault as a proven...
As a chassis and engine manufacturer.
Proven team. To be beating Renault in the Constructors' Championship, they've definitely exceeded my expectations.
Kathy?
Yeah, they've exceeded mine too. Definitely in the first half of the season, I think the first couple of races they came straight into the points. Wasn't really expecting that at all. I mean, they have sort of dropped off in the most recent races, but I still think they've exceeded expectations.
Okay, Harry?
Yeah, first off season pretty good, but since then I can't remember the last time I scored a point.
It was in Austria.
Yeah, so it's quite a while ago now.
Let's make a decision. Which 2 drivers do you think should be in there next season?
Grosjean.
Yeah.
Grosjean's seat and then...
Gutierrez's seat, do you think?
It's a tough one.
There's so many drivers that they can really put in.
Okay, well the thing is you've got Charles Leclerc, who's on the verge of winning the GP3 championship. You've got possibly Kevin Magnussen, who has some sources saying that he could be rumoured to be joining Haas next year, but we've already put him in Force India.
Yeah.
So I think Grosjean and Gutierrez need another chance at Haas next year, because I think Haas need more development with the drivers that have got experience and know the car very well. Jack?
I'll agree with that.
Okay, Kathy?
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Okay, so Grosjean and Gutierrez at Haas for next year. Quickly, let's move on to Renault now. Now, we know we've put Kevin Magnussen in the Force India seat. Do we see Palmer keeping that seat?
I'd like to see him.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I think it'll be, because obviously we moved Hulkenberg, I feel it will be him and Hulkenberg.
Okay. Kathy?
Yeah, I think it might be him and Hulkenberg, but I'm just a bit worried because he hasn't been putting in that many results.
Well, the thing is, going into the last 2 races actually, because he finished in the points in Malaysia, and despite him finishing 12th, everybody finished the race, so he's done very, very well recently in a better car than he has in earlier on in the season. So we say Hulkenberg and Palmer then.
Yeah.
We'll stick those 2 in. Right. Manor, now, this could be anyone, but we hope Verline could be racing there next year, considering who else we've...
I'd like to see both of the people that stay there. to develop, definitely.
So Verline and Ocon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the two very good young promising drivers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kathy?
I agree with that.
Okay, so we're going to put Verline and Ocon as our two drivers to retain their seats for next year. And finally, let's go on to Sauber. Now, Ericsson and Nasser, do you feel they should be given a third shot?
I like Nazar. I definitely thought. Of course, he's not doing too well this year, but last year he did very well for a first year.
Yeah.
So
First race, in fact.
yeah. So I would like to see Nazar stay. As for Ericsson,
with the money that he's got and the new owners that come in, they sort of have a little link with him.
yeah. So
Kathy, would you agree on that?
Yeah, I agree. I don't see who Sauber would bring in if they got rid of those drivers, to be honest.
I think it's going to be really difficult, to be honest. I mean, Harry, you were going to say something as well.
No, I was going to agree that unless
Unless the
either
Joe's got better
Ocon-
funding.
yeah, or Verline gets a ridiculous amount of funding, then Sauber will just keep the funding that they've got in the two drivers.
Okay, so should we say Ericsson and Nasser?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree on that as well. Okay, so let's quickly go through our predictions. So Hamilton, Rosberg at Mercedes, Ricciardo, Verstappen at Red Bull, Vettel and Raikkonen at Ferrari, Magnussen and Perez at Force India, Williams, we agreed on Lynn and Bottas, McLaren, Alonso and Van Dorn, Toro Rosso, Sainz and Gasly, Haas, Grosjean and Gutierrez, Renault, Hulkenberg and Palmer, for Manor, Verline, Ocon and Sauber, Ericsson and Nasser. Okay, we would love to go on, but unfortunately we are out of time. That is the end of the show for this evening. Thank you for listening and sending your tweets and answers to Brayford Radio. Do make sure you join in next week's show where me and the team will be having our preview for next weekend's race at the United States Grand Prix in Austin. From me, Jack, Kathy and Harry, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you again next week. This is Tom Kent on Formula Tom. You are listening to Brayford Radio.